Hi, I'm Emmy Neefeld. I use the pronouns she, her. I'm white, cis, bisexual woman, and I'm so excited to be here today. Here's my story. I stayed at the bridge in 2009 when I was 16. I had not lived with my mom for a while. My parents were divorced, and my other parent had moved away and become estranged. And so when I was in high school, my mom's hoarding and mental illness meant that I spent time in a residential treatment center, in foster care, and after being discharged from foster care, was I got a scholarship to boarding school, but I was bouncing around during breaks. So I ended up staying with a lot of friends, couch surfing, um, in some like pretty like I don't know, dicey situations and others that were more okay. But the summer when I was 16, I had run out of friends to stay with. I had just gotten surgery and I was ended up sleeping in my car. And that was when my former social worker and my doctor, they were like, you need to go to a shelter. And so that's when I found the bridge. Um, I had been in other institutions, like I had been sent to psych wards sometimes. I was in a treatment center in Minneapolis, and in foster care. And I remember when I was at the bridge, I just felt a lot more at ease. I thought that the staff were like curious about the kids' lives, but not judgmental, and that they like weren't really in my business in a way that was really good and refreshing. Because I had gone through all these places where adults were telling me like what to do, who didn't really know my life and didn't really know my situation. And so it felt really good to be free from that and be in a more like equal space where they were there to support us, but they weren't there to like police us. And I remember that we could help cook or clean up after meals, but we didn't have to, which seems like such a small thing, but it honestly made me feel really taken care of because I felt like, okay, I don't have to earn my keep. And if I need to just like rest, that's okay too, especially after like relying on so many people to give me a place to stay and feeling like I had to be on such perfect behavior. That was just so welcome. As like a like queer teenager, like the bridge really kept me safe, which was not like always the case when I was like trying to find places to stay and everything like that. And it yeah, and it did feel like a really affirming place to be, even at a time in my life where I was like really questioning my sexuality and my identity. When I was there, it was the summer that Drake's song Best I Ever Had was on the radio constantly. And so I remember like sitting in the lounge, like listening to that song on repeat on KDWB, and how like everyone would freak out when he got to the line that goes like sweatpants, hair back, chilling with no makeup on, because that felt like it was like exactly us. Um, and I think what really surprised me about the bridge is that like I had a certain stereotype of who needs to come like stay at a shelter. And I'm white, like my parents both have college degrees. Um I thought like somebody like me would just be like that they would not want me, that they would not be able to help me. Um and what I found was that I had so much in common with the other people who were there in terms of like our family backgrounds, and that like a lot of us had been in foster care or like had problems with our parents. Like there was tension in the home that we couldn't necessarily describe, but it was seen as like valid at the bridge. And like even if we didn't have words for it, like they thought about it as real and like helped us kind of navigate it. And so like compared to all these other institutions I had like been through, like the psych ward or foster care, The bridge was the first place that I didn't feel, like, totally isolated and, like, my experience was, like I was the only person going through it. And if I I think a lot of people find the idea of, like, going to a shelter or, like, a drop-in center really, really scary, and what I wish I had known was that, like, it is a place that has resources. The bridge did not, like, try to save me, um, or, like, act like they could fix all of my problems. But and, like, because of that, it was even more helpful to me because it was like, here are the services that they could offer, and that it was, like, the perfect place for somebody in my situation, that, like, a more medical setting was not gonna be, or, um yeah, I mean, I think, like, it's if it seems like it's something that a youth, like, in crisis needs, then it probably is. And I'm really, really grateful that it existed and exists today, because it was just, like, there was just such, like, a need that I had and that these other youth had, and, like, there was no other institution that was gonna fulfill those needs. I feel like so much of our society does not believe that teenagers, like, know what they need and know, like, that young people, like, don't know what's good for them. And so it is, like, really special to me that a group of, like, youth are fighting to help their peers, and that, like, they're making their voices heard, and that the bridge is listening to them. Today, I am the author of a recent memoir. It's called Acceptance, and it just came out from Penguin. And it covers high school and actually talks about my time at the bridge and the stuff leading up to it and after that. And as a lot of people back home say, I moved from the mini apple to the big apple. So today I live in New York with my family. Thank you so much for having me.